and give it a chop. Okay. Really, the only work you have to do here is the prep. The soup itself comes together so quickly, it's wild. About 1 cup. You can add a little bit more if you'd like. I'm gonna set that aside and peel and chop my 2 carrots now. Just a quick peel. Cutting them lengthwise, then lengthwise again. And now let's give them a nice chop. All right, carrots aside, grab 1 big beautiful head of broccoli, the star, along with our cheese, and I'm gonna cut this into bite-sized pieces. This is actually, in my humble opinion, the sweetest part of the broccoli. I like to chop this up too, but you can have just the florets if you'd like. So chop the stalk finely, and now we're going to break off the little tiny trees from our florets. Now, while you want bite-sized pieces or pieces that'll sit in the spoon nicely, I wouldn't go all the way and have them chopped up to the tiny points here of the flour. Then it'll be like, it's too much, it'll dissolve in the soup. So let the broccoli have some structure. When you're making soups that have different ingredients, you always want to say, like, what will my spoon have on it when I dip into this? So you want a little bit of carrot, a little bit of onion, a little bit of broccoli, not 1 hunk of broccoli and some broth. By the way, if you like delicious things, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's 2 new recipes and 2 shorts every single week, so there's something delicious always along the way. Once your broccoli is all chopped up, pop it into a bowl and set aside. Grab 4 or so cloves of garlic, give them a smash to get the skin off, and either pass them through a press or give them a nice mince and set aside. I'll be using a press because it's so much easier. All our prep is done, so grab your large pot or Dutch oven, and we're gonna get our onions and carrots started. Heat your Dutch oven over medium heat, and we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of butter. This soup is such a comfort classic. I love broccoli cheese soup, and it's beyond easy to make. If you want, you can make this soup in advance. It keeps for up to 4 days, only in the fridge. It doesn't work in the freezer. Okay. Once your butter's melted, we're gonna add in 1 cup of chopped onion, as well as our chopped carrots. Get the seasoning started with half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of cracked black pepper. We're gonna stir this occasionally for about 5 minutes over medium heat until it's softened. While my onions and carrots are softening, I'm gonna shred my 8 ounces or 227 grams of nice cheddar cheese. This is a sharp cheese, it gives you a lovely flavor, and you could definitely use pre-grated cheese if you wanted, but it doesn't melt as easily, and when you buy pre-packaged cheese, it's coated in cellulose or like wood pulp, which is fine to eat, but it just doesn't have that same silky flavor. Beautiful. Back to the veggies. After 5 minutes, it's time to add your 4 cloves of garlic. I'm just using a press. And once the garlic is in, stir constantly for 2 minutes until the garlic is nice and fragrant. And then it's time to add 3 tablespoons of flour in. So the flour is our thickening agent. It'll make it so creamy and luscious. Okay, fragrant and delicious. Let's add in our flour, sprinkle it in, and give it a fairly hard stir and stir constantly for 2 minutes. This is cooking the flour, which makes it food safe because flour could have bacteria in it, and it also changes the flavor. That's why you're not supposed to eat cookie dough, that and the eggs. After 2 minutes of cooking the garlic, it's time to gradually whisk in 4 cups of chicken broth. If you want, you could use veggie broth instead, but the chicken broth has a lovely flavor. When you add a liquid into the flour mixture that you've cooked, it's always going to give you a better, silkier consistency with less chance of lumps. This smells so good already. Haven't even gotten to the broccoli cheese or half and half yet. Okay. Once your broth is in, it's time to add 2 cups of half and half. Again, just whisk it in slowly. This is going to make it so creamy. And if you don't have half and half, use cream and milk. And you could just use cream though, but that's gonna be very, very rich. Half and half is the way to go. I'm gonna increase this to medium-high now, stirring occasionally until this comes to a simmer. My soups come to a simmer and it thickens slightly at this point. Don't worry if it seems a bit watery. It's not gonna be like potato soup. That's a different soup. Now it's time to add our broccoli in. Stir that in. I'm gonna sprinkle in half a teaspoon of paprika right now, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. Give it a stir so everything's nice and combined. Nice. Now we're gonna cover this up and simmer on low for about 15 minutes or until the broccoli is tender. After that half and half went in, you really do want to watch this and not bring it to a hard boil. It should only be a simmer. And the same thing goes here. Do not forget to turn it all the way down to low, because if it's too hot, the half and half could cause the mixture to break. And that would mean that it kind of curdles and separates. It's not going to be silky. Low heat is the way to go. So after 15 minutes, not only has the broccoli softened, but this is thickened up and it has like a nice silky characteristic to it. It's not like this, like, so thick, but it's nicely thick. It's time to stir in our cheese a handful at a time, and here you're gonna see it really kind of thicken up and become more creamy. Sprinkle and stir, sprinkle and stir. If you shredded your cheese fresh, it kind of clumps up together. That's why they add the wood pulp when you have it in the package. But it's a small price to pay for it to be so delicious. Last handful of cheese, and by the way, you could add other cheeses you like. If you wanted some Monterey Jack in here, that's fine. Pepper Jack, that would be delicious. Think of this as a choose your own adventure for the cheese, as long as it's like not super hard or super soft. Importantly, it's time to give your soup a taste. I love that. If it was not salty enough, you could add more salt. You could sprinkle in more pepper, like, it's not gonna hurt. Once your soup is done, transfer to bowls, garnish with more cheese, and it's ready to enjoy. Cheesy,